Psalm 121 verses 1 to 2 says, I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. We must know that our ultimate source of help is God, who created everything and is sovereign over all. Isaiah 41 verse 10 says, So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. God promises to strengthen and uphold us, even in challenging times. Philippians 4 verse 13 says, I can do all this through him who gives me strength. With God's strength, we can overcome any obstacle or challenge that comes our way. Psalm 46 verse 1 says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. God is always with us, providing refuge and strength when we face difficulties. Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30 says, Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Jesus offers rest and peace to those who come to him with their burdens. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Trusting in God and seeking his guidance leads to a straight path in life. 2 Corinthians 12 verses 9 to 10 says, But he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. God's grace empowers us in our weaknesses, demonstrating his strength. Psalm 34 verses 17 to 18 says, The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. God listens to our cries and saves us from our troubles, especially when we are brokenhearted. Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Putting our hope in God renews our strength and enables us to persevere. James 1 verse 5. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. God provides wisdom generously to those who seek it from him. Psalm 55 verse 22 says, Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Entrusting our worries to God brings us sustenance and stability. Romans 8 verse 28 says, And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. God works all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Hebrews 4 verse 16 says, Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. Through Jesus, we can boldly approach God for mercy and grace in our times of need. Psalm 37 verse 5 says, "Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will do this." Trusting in God's plan and committing our ways to Him leads to His guidance and provision. 1 Peter 5 verse 7 says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you." God cares deeply for us and invites us to cast our anxieties upon Him. Psalm 91 verses 1 to 2 says, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust." Finding refuge in God brings rest and security, knowing He is trustworthy. Jeremiah 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God has good plans for our lives, offering hope and a promising future. John 14 verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." Jesus gives us His peace, which transcends worldly troubles and fears. Psalm 23 verses 1 to 4. "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters, and He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for You are with me. Your rod and Your staff, they comfort me." God provides for all our needs, guides us through difficult times, and comforts us in times of trouble. Matthew 6 verses 33 to 34. "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Prioritizing God's kingdom leads to His provision and peace, freeing us from unnecessary worry. Deuteronomy 31 verse 6 says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." God's constant presence encourages us to be strong and courageous in the face of adversity. Psalm 50 verse 15 says, "Call on me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you will honor me." In times of trouble, God promises to deliver us when we call upon Him. Romans 8 verse 31. "What, then, shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us?" With God on our side, no opposition can ultimately prevail against us. Hebrews 13 verse 6 says, "So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" God's help enables us to live without fear of human threats. Psalm 138 verse 3 says, "When I called, you answered me. You greatly emboldened me." God responds to our prayers and gives us the strength and courage we need. Joshua 1 verse 9 says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." God's command to be strong and courageous is backed by his unwavering presence. Isaiah 43 verse 2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." God is with us through all trials, ensuring we are not overcome by them. Psalm 32 verse 8 says, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you." God provides guidance and instruction, always watching over us with love. 1 Chronicles 16 verse 11 says, "Look to the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always." Continually seeking God and his strength is key to enduring life's challenges. Nahum 1 verse 7 says, "The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him." God is a refuge and provides care for those who trust in him. John 16 verse 33 says, "I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." Despite worldly troubles, Jesus' victory gives us peace and encouragement. Psalm 27 verse 1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" God's protection and salvation dispel all fear. Ephesians 6 verse 10 says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power." Strength comes from relying on God's mighty power. Lamentations 3 verses 22 to 23 says, "Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." God's unfailing love and daily renewed compassion sustain us. Psalm 9 verses 9 to 10 says, "The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who know your name trust in you, for you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you." Trusting in God provides refuge and strength in times of oppression and trouble. 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 3 says, "But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one." God's faithfulness assures us of his strength and protection against evil. Isaiah 26 verse 3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Trusting in God brings perfect peace and steadfastness. Zephaniah 3 verse 17 says, "The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In his love, he will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. God's presence brings salvation, delight, and joy over his people. Matthew 19 verse 26 says, Jesus looked at them and said, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." God's power makes the impossible possible. Psalm 18 verse 2 says, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold." God is our secure refuge, protector, and deliverer in all circumstances. Hence, put your trust in him and subscribe to this channel. God bless you.